Oh, hello, my friends. Some crazy shit went down last night, and I feel like it will be healthy for and cathartic for me to talk about it with you all early this morning because Maggie is a part of me and a part of Plantriotic and a part of our family. And I think there's some lessons to be learned. Well, I know there are for sure, and I want to share them with you. And everything is okay and perfect. So I'm just like vibing so grateful and happy right now. And I just got to share what happened last night. It was so scary, really, the whole day. So recently, and this is a new development with Maggie. She usually just stays wherever I am, but she's gotten so comfortable in our little town here in Costa Rica that in the last like month ish, since we've been back from our trip, maybe she was doing it a little bit before we left. She will leave our little rental house property right here and go down our driveway and explore some of the neighboring houses. And I'm pretty sure it's because one of our friends lives down there. He's a Costa Rican guy. He does building work for me. And because our land is right down, we're all in the same town, my rental house and my land's down there. So Maggie's gotten to know it really well. And she goes and he feeds her little bones and probably pieces of chicken and stuff once in a while. So she's gotten in the habit of like once a day she'll take a little 30-minute or an hour exploration without me knowing it. Like I'll be working on my computer or gardening or doing something, and she leaves our little house here, and then she comes back. And I figure, and then I asked him, and yeah, he gives her little bones and chicken and stuff. All right, whatever, it happens, we live in a little village. But, and, I'm someone who likes my dog to be free. Maggie and I have built such an amazing relationship together where I trust her and I give her freedom. And, we leave our doors open and she just hangs out with us and she's usually always with us. And she's a free being. I don't ever put her on a leash or tie her up or lock her in the house. We've built so much trust together. And yesterday, just like normal, I was gardening. Natalia was probably out for a run, and I get back, and Maggie arrives soon after. She had just done a little exploring in the village, like normal, and I start doing yoga at like 10 in the morning, and I hear her just go like, just like whimper, and it sounded really weird, and I like go to say what's up, and she like runs under my bed. And long story short, she spent literally 7 hours, maybe 8 hours, the entire day with her belly super full and extended, and like she was drunk, which happened, you might remember, when I was in Belize 3 years ago, 2 years ago with Maggie on our bike tour, when I think she ate some cacao, and she clearly ate something toxic, and it was like she was laying down, she was off balance, her eyes were open and alert, but you'd like go to pet her and she would like delay her reaction. It was literally like a combination of she was like drunk and had a terrible stomach ache and was like in a coma. Like you'd like lift her leg and it would just literally fall back down. She was like stiff like a board. It was fucked up. And so I like, when Natalia and I first noticed it, when I was in Belize, what we did at this vet was we put like a mixture solution of like hydrogen peroxide and salt water and like forced it down her throat so that she'd barf and vomit, which makes sense. I didn't have any hydrogen peroxide, which I'm gonna get today so that we have it in the future because that induces dogs to vomit. But also grass does. So I literally went out and I took some grass and I blended it in the blender with some salt water and forced that down her throat. This is just like at like 10, 11 a.m. yesterday. Like the first hour it happened when we didn't think it would be a big deal. She just ate something bad to try to get her to barf, but she didn't barf from that. And she was just like out. I was like, fuck, this is so scary. So we let her rest. And after like an hour or two of not barfing, we got super scared. I started calling my vet. It was Sunday here in Costa Rica. The mixture of COVID and it being Sunday, and actually today, Monday, is a new Costa Rican holiday. It's like a peace holiday for the fact that Costa Rica doesn't have an army or military, which is actually pretty dope. I gotta look in. I heard it's like a new holiday they're having, but it's ironic you're hearing the village dogs in the neighborhood barking down there. But so I called my vet and they were like, literally, we're not open. None of the doctor vets are like answering their phones. Like, it's Sunday. We live in a rural area. Like, this is a part of the consequences or the scary part of this beautiful life we have living in rural nature. Is it's not like Los Angeles where you can just go to an emergency vet that's available. It doesn't work like that. And so they were just like, look, don't give her anything, don't give her water, don't give her salt water, just literally let her pass through whatever's happening. Like, I got in contact with the secretary at the vet that I go to in the city, and that's what she recommended. So Natalia and we posted, like, I asked some friends in our neighborhood, like literally we couldn't get any help. And Maggie's eyes were open. She was always breathing throughout this time, even though she was like incapacitated, like literally for fucking 8 hours the entire day. She did not move a muscle, laying down, off balance, eyes open and alert and breathing, but would not move. She barfed midway through the day, rice, whole beans, so I know it's not the food I give her because I blend everything, a bunch of chicken, and super hard bones. So that's what she had eaten down there, plus probably something else toxic because rice and beans and chicken wouldn't have done that to her. So she barfed this huge pile of it, and we felt so good. This was at like maybe noon or 2 or 3 o'clock. So we expected when that happened, she'd spruce right back to life, and she didn't. She stayed laying down there. She hadn't drinking anything now in like 8 hours. No water, huge barf, and still completely fucked up. I was like, guys, it got to the point, I'm gonna make sure we're still recording here. You know, it got to the point by like 4 or 5 o'clock yesterday where like I'd never seen her like this before. She had never been so sick for this long period of time, and after she had barfed, staying so like messed up. And this is what this video is really about, and I'll finish the story. Maggie's totally fine now, just so great to know. But in that moment, and this is where like the meaningful part of this video is, which is, you guys know what Maggie means to me. She's like literally, except for Natalia, the most important thing in my entire life, period. Sorry, mom and dad, I love you guys, you're my everything, but Maggie's my daughter. I've been with her every single day for 3 straight years. We've traveled the world together. You guys know, I don't need to explain it. And I'm a weird animal dog person. She's my everything. And we tried everything we could do, called everyone, exhausted all the possibilities. And Maggie's a free being, and she's always been food obsessed. And we got to the point where I was thinking maybe because there were such hard bones and the vomit that she barfed, maybe like this wasn't just she ate something like toxic in a trash can, like chocolate or cleaning solution, but maybe like a bone had ruptured her fucking intestines. She was like internal bleeding or something. because she was so, just could not move. And Natalia and I were left in this position of just waiting and hoping for the best. And this is where my yogic practice and teachings come in. My instinct is to be scared, of course, like all of us, and sad and feel all this pain inside when your loved one is struggling and maybe could die in such a quick moment. Like, she was perfect when we woke up, and then she went on an adventure and came back, and boom, she was in this state of being. And I had the choice to be just shiver and fear and be sad and cry and be so scared and be so stressed and anxious and just like fuck and have all this pain in me. But that didn't happen, because after we tried everything we could do and I realized this is out of my control, I swear, I said to myself and Natalia, I was like, okay, here's where everything I talk about to you guys online and my yogic teachings come into play. Life is messy. Life is not in our control. Crazy, painful shit happens. We have done our best. And non-attachment. So in that moment when Maggie was struggling, literally, I kind of put a smile on my face. I said, life is birth and death. Maggie's lived the best life ever. I rescued her from an abusive state where she was an obese dog in a shelter full of fear and abandon. And we've lived the best 3 years together. And life, all you can expect in life is change and chaos. Like, I really believe that. Life is out of our control, and we can't attach on to even our loved ones when we try the best we can to keep them safe. Shit like this is gonna happen, and you have the choice in that moment to, when your loved ones are in pain and struggling in a situation that you have no control over, you have the choice to be in fear of attachment, of losing that thing you love, or when you realize you can't do anything else, reflect on the beautiful times you've had together and be grateful that I'm healthy in this moment and that tons of other dogs are on the street and in even more pain than Maggie. And literally in this moment of being so scared, thinking that Maggie might fucking die right now, I just said to Natalia, Natalia, I love you. We love each other. We're so blessed to have each other. Maggie's our baby. We've loved Maggie. She's such a crazy, wild being, but she's in this state, and just thank you for the experiences we've had together, Maggie. It's been so good. And non-attachment. Non-attachment is everything. When we attach on to the things we love even the most, if we attach and based our happiness on their existence and them being what they are in our life, we're bound to be depressed and sad in life, because like this moment, life can go away so fast. So look, I'm not gonna lie and say I was perfectly happy and joyous that she was in this state, but I didn't break down. I stayed into perspective that crazy shit in life happens. People are dying of COVID and heart disease, and your loved ones can go so quickly. And Natalia and I just kept on smiling and loving each other and thinking of the great times we've had with Maggie and having good conversation and hoping the best for her and chanting with her and just keeping in this perspective that life is always transforming and changing and life is so fleeting and it can go away. And just thank you for this experience, and like, wow, this is such a powerful feeling, instead of it just being like, oh, I hate and I'm sad that this is such a strong sad thing. Just being like, wow, we love Maggie. Look what she means to us. And I was so grateful in that moment of my yogic practice, because I called my parents and I told them what was happening. And my dad's not a yogi, all right? He's not. He's got a lot of anxiety. He attaches onto a lot of things. God bless him. I love my dad so much, but I knew he was going to struggle through this even more than me because of just the stress and anxiety. He loves Maggie so much. And yeah, he was scared. He told me he had a huge lump in his, or a rock in his stomach. Like, he was just so sad and uncomfortable knowing that Maggie might be going out with what if she ate something so toxic. But I really swear I stayed into perspective that we cannot attach onto the things that we love, and life is so fleeting. And I just appreciated all the times Maggie had together, even if this was our last day together. And I was so fucking grateful that my yoga practice really works. This yogic philosophy that I read and always tune into and practice and meditation and on my mat, it really helped me through this moment of deep, deep pain and stress that I was going through, of my freaking daughter being in a freaking coma practically. Whew. Okay, and now long story short, here's the beautiful part. It got to be like 7 o'clock at night, and it's dark out. We were pretty much ready to go to bed, like just to hope to wake up in the morning for it to be Monday, and we would rush to a vet that was open in town, and that Maggie would survive through the night. And the secretary of the vet that I go to called me and said, hey, I found this vet who said they would do an emergency call. Like, you'll probably have to pay up, but if you want to go now, you can go. And I was like, fuck yes. So I turn on my car. Now this is like hour 8 or something of Maggie being so messed up and sick, laying down in our bathroom. That's where she had been this whole time. And I turn on the car and Maggie jumps up with a tail wagging to get in the car. And Natalia's like, look, she's up! She's moving for the first time in 8 hours or something. And I started bawling, crying with happiness that she was freaking alive and could get up. She was still off balance, but she got up and ran to the car at the sound of the car. And Maggie loves the car. Whenever I turn on the car, she always wants to get in because she knows that I'm going somewhere and she wants to come. And I got to my knees and I started bawling. And I'm not a crier. Unfortunately, I have a hard time crying, just growing up, whatever. A lot of men have a hard time crying, and it takes a lot to get me to cry. Like, I probably cry once a year when something crazy happens. And I started bawling, crying, just so happy that she was alive and fucking moving for the first time. And Natalia got to see me cry for the first time. She just started laughing, and I'm like, I'm just so happy she's not dead and she's at least alive for now. And I'm just bawling, letting all that emotion out. That, I'll be honest, like, I probably was keeping it in the last 8 hours, trying to keep my composure and staying in this perspective of, like, just appreciating the present moment we have. But of course, it was intense as well, so it was a total emotional release to see her, that she was at least kind of okay. Not perfect, she was still weird and messed up and hadn't drinking the whole day and still had toxic shit in her body, but she at least ran to the car. I was just fucking crying, and we were like, all right, let's still go to this vet. So we put her in the car. She's got pee all over her from just leaking pee throughout the day because she hadn't moved all day. And it was so sad. And we brought the vomit to show the vet. And it was a vet that was kind of far away, like almost an hour away. So Natalia and I are driving. We go to bed early, so it was dark and at night and raining, and we're driving, and Maggie's in the back, and she's like whimpering. And we get to the vet. He was the best. It was in Uvita. He was like, yeah, she's pretty dehydrated, but she had spruced up. So this was like the best she had been in like the whole day. She was finally getting back to life. Even with before, like we gave her anything or pills or whatever, the dude gave her like a little digestive stomach medicine and like a little injection, something like to help her with her dehydration. I don't even know what it was. I was just so happy that we were at a vet at like 8 o'clock at night, an emergency vet. And he took her blood. We did a blood test. Everything was like pretty good. Everything was great in range actually, except for her being dehydrated. So he was like, yeah, she probably just ate something super messed up. And we gave her this stomach medicine and she just spruced right back to life. And now she's great and she's fine this morning. So we have like three more days of this like stomach relieving pill, and he said just give her very little food, let her relax, make sure she rehydrates, and that's the story. But so Maggie's completely fine. She's probably not going to come out right now. She's in the house, but even though it's beautiful out, there was just some thunder, so she goes into under the bed when there's any sound of thunder. So I don't want to stress her out, but she's great and she's happy, and it was just so amazing to cuddle her last night and this morning in bed, that she was healthy. And Natalia was so amazing with me throughout this process, and I'm so grateful for the yoga and for my teachings in life, because I want to be a father soon or someday, and like I've put my parents through so much pain and stress of taking crazy adventures in life and getting injured and doing things, and life is just full of your loved ones getting in pain, and you have the choice to just like completely crumble and break down, which sometimes that's okay. You got to let your emotions flow. But I'm just so grateful that in the past, I've felt that feeling of pain when you're in a scary situation, and it's just so soul wrenching. And now, when this happens, because of my yoga and maturing, I can really stay into perspective that all we can expect in life is pain and suffering and chaos, and that doesn't mean it's bad. It's just what this life is, and we have to just be grateful and in perspective in every moment, even when things are going the opposite of how we want them to go. We have to focus on being grateful if you want to enjoy life, and I feel like I handled that situation really, really well emotionally, and I'm so grateful. Hare Krishna. Read the Ramayana, read the Yoga Sutras, listen to Sadhguru on YouTube, meditate, practice on your mat. Spiritual teachings are amazing. They really help you through life. And I've connected with like Buddhism, yoga, Hinduism, kind of those teachings are what I gravitate towards. And non-attachment is everything. Non-attachment is everything. Enjoy everything you have in the moment, your bicycle, your loved ones, your dog. But at the same time that you're enjoying them, expect them to go away literally every next moment. And then you'll enjoy the moment, but you won't attach onto them, because the only thing we know to be consistent is change. That's the only thing we can rely on, is change. We can't rely on anything to remain how it is, because all we know is things change. So grateful Maggie's good and happy. Hare Krishna, namaste. All right, let's go. Just to end the video, we'll go try to find her and see if she is. Where are you, Waggly? Because of this thunder. Probably under the bed, I expect. There you are, Maggie. I know there's thunder. Come here, baby. Come here. Yeah, there's thunder, so don't worry. She's not under there because she's sick, just because of some truenos. All right, much love. Dream extreme.